This is Unit 1H. It deals with ultraviolet dangers and earthquakes. So we're dealing with energy again and the wave form of energy. Seismic waves are the waves generated by earthquakes. There are two kinds of waves, primary waves and secondary waves, and as the animation shows, they behave differently. So primary waves can travel through all parts of the Earth, just about. Secondary waves cannot travel through the core here. So these cylinders here are seismometers, and they can detect both primary and secondary waves depending on the design of the seismometer. And we can see scattered around the Earth here a whole series of seismometers. They would in fact carry on around here. So we can detect this pattern, and that can tell us something about the earthquake. In contrast, we have these receiving as the primary waves will as well, but this one here is effectively in a shadow and it won't receive anything. So the negative results give us a pattern. Seismograph is the instrument that will record, or as its name suggests, graph this information for us. Over here we've got ultraviolet electromagnetic waves, which are the things that can give you a tan, or if you have too much of them, can actually damage your skin. So let's have a look at that in a little bit more detail. Of course, they come from the sun, and there are basically three layers which block or absorb them. On the left we have a nightmare scenario, and on the right we have the best case scenario. So high up in the atmosphere we have the ozone layer, which is three oxygens joined together, and that has an absorbing effect. It can be depleted or damaged by CFCs or chlorofluorocarbons. Particularly this effect is concentrated around the poles. So let's imagine we're under such a hole or a weakened layer. We're also not wearing sunscreen, and we've got light skin, so we haven't got much blocking pigment in our skin there. So the wave is going to come through very strongly, and it might damage our living cells there. By contrast, if we've got a nice thick ozone layer here doing lots of absorbing for us, and we can see it reduces the amplitude. We're wearing a nice sun protection factor of 30, so we can stay out 30 times longer than we otherwise could. So again, we can see the amplitude is reduced, and let's imagine we also have a darker skin tone, and again this pigment is blocking and absorbing, so we can see that only a very weakened wave gets this far. So we've got earthquakes, and we need to know something about how they're recorded, how they're assessed, and how they behave. We also need to know something about ultraviolet and the dangers and the ways to reduce those dangers, specifically sunscreen.